What's up, HyperFast Nation? On this episode of the show, we are going to take a look at how to get started with agent attraction, whether you're doing it for your team, brokerage, or downline. Stay tuned for the next episode of the HyperFast Show. Welcome back to the HyperFast Agent Show. Today we're going to look at agent attraction. This applies if you are looking to attract agents to your team, brokerage, or downline. I have done all three. So I started off in real estate 12, 13 years ago. My first year I sold over 20 million. Then I started building a team, right? So I was recruiting to a team, attracting agents to my team. Then I did that alongside Carrie, my wife, when we merged our teams and we built up the Carrie Scholl team to 50, 60 agents. We did it as a brokerage as well. So we had a brokerage model with a team embedded in it. And then the last 2 years, we've done it at eXp Realty. So we still attract to our team. We also attract to our eXp group. And we've built to hundreds and hundreds of agents in over 20 states in a very short amount of time. So lots of leverage in that model. However, if you're going to if you are building any of these, right, team, brokerage, or downline, network, whatever you want to call it. I know some people don't like the term downline. You need to know how to attract agents. And I think too often people think passively when it comes to this. Now, there are people that can put out amazing content on social media and get agents to come to them left and right. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I just don't think that for most people starting out that should be the only thing you rely on, right? And I think there's a simpler, faster, more duplicatable, scalable way to do it. Just to give a quick overview, though, there are multiple ways to attract agents, right? You can put out social media content organically and get people to come to you. Another way is to use paid traffic. Normally, when you're doing paid traffic, you are promoting a course, product, mastermind, training, and then getting people into your environment and then giving them options, right? To not only buy the product but join your team, brokerage, downline, etc. And then I think the most direct, quickest way is just to reach out to agents. That's specifically what I'm going to talk to today. This is the more proactive way. This is proactive prospecting, right? It all starts with making a list. I think most real estate agents, especially if you've been in the business any amount of time, can generate a list of 50 to 100 agents, right? That's definitely enough to get started. So I like to actually use pen, paper, and write it out, right? It works better than typing. You can later on go put them in a CSV, Excel, or CRM, whatever you want. But I think just putting pen to paper and writing a list is going to activate your mind more, right? So get your 50 to 100 agents, which is more than enough to start. If you've been in the business for a while, you can probably come up with 200, right? These can be agents that were, at your team, at your brokerage, that you've met at events, that you did deals with, etc., right? Lots of ways to come up with the list. For most people, 50 to 100. If you've been in the business a while, 200, okay? So get your list, write it out, and then continue to feed the list ongoing, right? So as you're doing your normal course of business, you should be coming across dozens of agents a month, right? People that you show their listings, people that show your listings, people that you do deals with, people that you meet at trainings, networking events, right? So you want to always continue to add to the list, okay? Next thing you need to do, next step, is to call your list. This is, most people never make the list, and then most that do that never call it. All right, so you need to call the list, and we're not going to be overly salesy on it. Right? There's very simple ways to do this, and you're just going to invite people to learn more about whatever you're offering, whether it's a team or brokerage, right? So you're just calling them up, connecting with them. And the simple way to do this, by the way, is to call them up, let them know you just want to talk to them for a couple minutes, tell them why you're calling, right? Tell them about your team or your brokerage, and make an if-then statement, right? If I set aside time to go over, my offering, right, would you be able to take 30 minutes? Or if I sent you some information about whatever it is, would you be able to look at it? All right, so it's an if I do this, will you do that statement? And then get multiple confirmations. We like to shoot for 3, right? So for example, if we were sending out a video about EXP and they say they can watch it, it'd be great. It's 30 minutes. If I send it out today, when can you watch it by? Okay, you can watch it by Tuesday. So if I called you Wednesday, you would have definitely been able to have seen it. That's enough time, right? They say yes. Okay, great. I can call you on Wednesday at 9 or 2. What works better, or do you need some other time? Okay, great. You confirm it, and then you get off the phone, right? So we're just inviting people. The script is simple. We're inviting them to learn about our brokerage or our team, and making a statement like, if I sent you information, would you look at it? If I set aside time, would you look at it? If I'm having a lunch and learn to explain our offering next week, if I saved a seat for you, would you be able to attend, right? So it's just if-I statements. If I did this, then would you do that? Very simple. Next step is to enroll support. Okay, you don't want to be the only one recruiting them. So, once you've got information in their hand, depending on your structure, have other people on the call, right? If you are recruiting to a team, have another team member that's had success on the call, whether it's like your lead listing agent, lead buyer's agent, operations officer, recruiting. It depends on how big your team is, right? But have someone else, have third party on the call. Third party validation helps. Same thing if you're recruiting to a brokerage, particularly those with downlines. Have other people, your sponsor or a sponsor above them, or someone else in your group, right? Have someone else on the call. It really works, especially if you're new, right? If you're new, like when we have new agents join EXP, I really encourage them to book me on the calls with them, or book my sponsor on the calls with them, because everyone knows they're kind of new, and then they play the role of connector. So a lot of times in recruiting, if you can get away with trying to be the expert and be the connector and just connect them to other people on your team or at your brokerage or in your downline, whatever, right? Like, just be the connector, connect them to different people. I even will connect them to people that are at EXP, but not necessarily in my group sometimes, right? So if they have a good call with me and my sponsor, but they want to hear from someone else at the company, there's tons of different people I'll reach out to, and I do the same for them too, right? Because sometimes they want to hear from people that don't have like the direct sponsor benefit. But really, you just need to think at this stage, like once you've made your list, you've called it, you've gotten them into contact, you don't necessarily want to try to close. I think sometimes closing them too soon creates a lot of pressure, and one way to relieve that pressure is just to book the next exposure. All right, I like to think exposure to exposure. So instead of booking them or instead of trying to close them, if I don't think they're ready to be closed, I'm going to book them on a call or a meeting with someone else, right? Whether it be a broker, another agent that's had a ton of success, someone else in the upline, right? So and then that just allows them to build more relationships and get more education, right? Because this recruiting process really is all about building relationships and educating them, right? Because if you're bringing them on your team, if you're bringing them into your brokerage, you're bringing them into your rev share brokerage, it's new to them, and they need to learn the system, and until they've been educated and established enough connection through relationships, they're not going to be ready, right? So continuing to book exposures, and then letting them have glimpses of your team meetings or your brokerage meetings or trainings that you do in your rev share group, right? Whatever it is, the more you let them see that, the more connection they're going to build, the more educated they're going to be, and then the closing will just happen naturally without any pressure. But I think the key to all of this is to think of proactive prospecting. How can you actually be proactive in going out and building the list, making the calls, making the connections, and being proactive rather than just looking for the magic pill where everyone's going to come to you. So think proactive prospecting when it comes to agent attraction. And by the way, if you are watching this and you're thinking like, hey, this sounds interesting, I think I could benefit from EXP Realty, from being associated with Dan and Carrie, learning from billion-dollar agents, learning from top sponsoring agents. I'd love to have that call with you. Right? I'd love to show you how our model will help you sell more homes, help you keep more commission, and help you, more importantly, build passive income. And I'd love to be a part of that for you. That discovery. No pressure. All you need to do is send me a text message at 703-638-4393. Again, that's 703-638-4393. Just send me a text message. I'd love to have that conversation with you about how we can help you build your business at eXp Realty. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the HyperFast Show. We will see you next time.